Laugh-Tale, the island at the end of the New World, named by Gol D. Roger, the king of the pirates, home to the legendary treasure known as the One Piece. How's everybody doing? Welcome back to my channel. My name is Fla, and today we gotta talk about Laugh-Tale. The reason why is because I have a pretty solid theory on where it might be. In fact, the news crew should interview me for what I'm about to tell you. So it should go without saying that this video will contain huge spoilers. I'm recording this video on Monday, July 18th, 2022. If you are not caught up with the manga, which at the moment of this recording is chapter 1053, come back when you have done so. With that out of the way, let's get straight to it. The basis of this theory revolves around the idea that whales have a significant value in One Piece. Whenever a whale is seen, key information is revealed in the story, some of which is regarding the final island, Laugh-Tale. So what is my theory? I believe that Laugh-Tale is inside a whale. Yes, inside an actual whale, and here's why. Let's take a step back and look at the Fishman Island Arc. At first, this arc seemed to be nothing more than a transitional arc to showcase how strong Luffy and his crew had gotten during the time skip. I personally enjoyed it a lot, but now as the years have gone by, the Fishman Island Arc is starting to show how important it is. I would honestly categorize it as being right next to Skypiea in terms of how important it is in setting up roots for the story of One Piece, and here's why. Let's talk about the sea forest. This area is populated by many ocean animals, including many whales. It is here in the sea forest that we are first introduced to the character Joy Boy by name. He lived during the Void Century and made a promise to Fishman Island to raise the Noah by using Poseidon's powers. Noah is of course the giant ship that was no doubt inspired by the biblical account of Noah's Ark. However, for an unknown reason, that promise was broken and the ship was left to be raised by another person in the future. Now for the longest time, this is all the information we had on Joy Boy. It wasn't until chapter 967 where we learned more about him. As it turns out, at some point in time, Joy Boy came across an island located at the end of the Grand Line. And on this specific island, Joy Boy left behind a treasure of unimaginable value. That's right. Joy Boy was the original owner of the One Piece, and the unnamed island he left the One Piece on was later named Laugh-Tale by Roger. And what did Roger do when he reached Laugh-Tale and found Joy Boy's treasure? He laughed. But why? I believe I know the answer to that. It's at this point that my theory is just pure speculation, but listen to what I gotta say. I'm testing the abilities of my observation hockey here. How many of you guys have read the book of Jonah? Whether you have or haven't, let me give you a brief summary. In the Bible, Jonah was a prophet of God. He was given a divine mission by God to go preach, to prophesy to the people of Nineveh of the upcoming destruction of their city. However, Jonah tries his absolute hardest to escape this divine mission by running away. He gets on a boat, and then once he's on that boat, a huge storm arises. The sailors on the boat start to panic and soon discover that Jonah is the one to blame for the intense storm. And then Jonah is all like, alright, he gives it up. He's like, alright, you got me. And then he says that if they throw him overboard, the storm will stop. At first the sailors refuse, but when the storm continues and there's no end in sight, the sailors are all like, you know what? F it. And Jonah goes overboard. Soon after, Jonah is saved by being swallowed by a large fish. He spends 3 days and 3 nights in the fish's belly, and while there he prays to God and vows to fulfill his mission. God hears him. God commands the fish to vomit Jonah out. Jonah then reluctantly goes through with his mission. He goes to Nineveh, he preaches, and then gets mad when the people of Nineveh repent. It's a very bare bones summary of the story, but essentially that's the story. And it's definitely something. And what makes the story so ridiculous is how stubborn Jonah is. It really is a funny story when you take the time to read it and understand what's going on. Wait a minute. Ridiculous. A funny story? That sounds familiar.
Joy Boy, ora! お前と同じ時代に生まれたかった。とんでもねえ宝を残しやがって。とんだ笑い話だ。
Do you see what I'm getting at? I believe Oda took inspiration from the Bible, the story of Jonah. And this is why I think that Joy Boy, who was traveling the world with the One Piece in hand, got swallowed by a whale and found the island by accident. That's why Roger and his crew were laughing. Joy Boy was probably such a dope that was the only possible way he could ever find the last island. And as Roger put it, it does make for a funny story. It's so funny that he and his crew couldn't help but laugh. And if there's one character that is such a clumsy idiot that this could happen to, it's none other than our protagonist, our beloved Luffy. After all, as confirmed by Zunisha in chapter 1044, Luffy is Joy Boy. If it is the case that Laugh Tale is inside a whale, it's no wonder why no one has ever found it. No pirate wants to get swallowed by a whale. They'd surely die, right? Also, perhaps time plays a role in this scenario too. If Laugh Tale is indeed inside a whale, chances are the whale is moving, kinda like Zoe. So perhaps this whale only appears in a certain area at a certain time. Is it possible that the road poneglyphs detail a location where the whale could be at a specific time? Absolutely. And if so, this hypothetical whale might only be in that particular location for a small amount of time and then disappears and doesn't reappear for who knows how long. Could be years, decades, who knows. And you see, there's the problem right there. What good does it do a person if they were able to find the location of Laugh Tale, but the whale holding it isn't set to appear for many years? You'd either be too early or too late. And where could this whale that holds Laugh Tale within him live? I would place my bet on the mystical sea known as the All Blue. So you see how there are so many things working against a man trying to find the last island. I gotta say, man, good luck finding it. Now I want to make a couple quick more points before I wrap this all up with a nice bow on top, right? Let me talk about Fishman Island again real quick, because I noticed a few things that were interesting to me. Remember Charlie's prediction that Luffy would destroy Fishman Island? I think it's gonna come true. It won't be out of malice, but out of necessity. I think that the citizens of Fishman Island will have to get on the Noah, and then Shirahoshi will use her powers to control the Sea Kings to move the ship to safety. And I think Luffy, who is the second coming of Joy Boy, will help Shirahoshi, therefore fulfilling the original promise that was made all those years ago by the original Joy Boy. You can see how this draws similarities to the biblical account of Noah's Ark. In the Bible, God commanded Noah to save 2 of each animal, male and female, to save them from the upcoming flood. I think that's exactly what's going to happen with Fishman Island. Just like the Noah saved the animals, the ship in One Piece, known as Noah, will be used to save the people of Fishman Island from the destruction of their home. We see here another biblical reference which I believe Oda took inspiration from. Also, we now know that Luffy is Joy Boy due to having awakened his Devil Fruit. In his awakened form, he gains the ability of the sun god Nika. Would you believe me if I told you that Nika was foreshadowed in Fishman Island? Take a look at this right here. This is an image of Brook's hypnotic Fantasia. Who does he look like right now? Sun god Nika. And who currently has the powers of Nika? Luffy, who is Joy Boy. So in the arc where we first get a Joy Boy name drop, we get this image. Of course, at the time, no one thought twice about this, but now that we know what we know, it's really interesting. Compare this image to Nika himself, Luffy's silhouette in Skypiea, fittingly dancing to Usopp's drums, which symbolize the drums of liberation, and then to Luffy himself, jumping through the sky in Wano in a pose identical to Nika. Also, at some point in the story, the Sea Kings say that the 2 sovereigns will meet and the whales will be happy. I believe this to be a reference to Shirahoshi and Luffy, aka Joy Boy. When the Straw Hats leave Fishman Island, what appears before them? Whales. and then they happily escort them to the new world and then let out a victory cry. They triumphantly let out a cry. At the time we didn't know, but the two kings, the two sovereigns, had already met, Luffy and Shirahoshi, and the whales knew that. The whales knew that, and that's why they were so happy, yelling out a battle cry, a war cry in victory, that they had met, and they knew that the time was coming. And finally, in the anime intro during the Fishman Island arc, we get this shot of a fish attempting to eat a log post, only to then get eaten by another bigger fish. This to me symbolizes that the last island is inside of a fish, specifically a whale. But hold on, there are still a few more things I want to talk about. Remember this guy? This is Crocus. He lives on Reverse Mountain, takes care of Laboon, who is a giant whale, and is also a doctor. He's a central figure in the Reverse Mountain arc, and it's in this story arc that the log post is introduced to Nami, and we learn about the navigation system for the Grand Line. It's also in this arc where the final island, Laugh-Tale, is mentioned for the very first time. And who provides this information? Crocus. But how does he know so much? Well, as it turns out, we later discover that Crocus isn't just any old man who is a doctor. In fact, he actually accompanied the Pirate King, Goldie Roger, on his final voyage to Laugh-Tale. Crocus right here is a major player in the story. Now let me ask you this. How is Crocus introduced in One Piece? He is introduced after the Straw Hats get swallowed by Laboon. That's right. He makes his debut on an island inside of a whale. It's actually a very comical introduction because he's such a troll and has the running gag of an intense stare with cuts and dramatic music playing.
Stop doing that! What's wrong? Haven't you ever heard of a running gag? Hell with a gag!
It's hard to watch that scene and not smile or even laugh. Now hold on. Did I say laugh? Yes, I did. Now, let me take you much further into the story. Remember the Zou arc? What about this tree right here? Very good. Now, what was the most important information that we received in this arc? It was in this arc that we learned about the road poneglyphs. We learned that there are 4 of them in the world. One in Zou, one owned by Big Mom, the other by Kaido, and the final one is in an unknown location. We don't know where it is. These poneglyphs give coordinates, and upon obtaining the contents of all 4, they will reveal the location of Laugh-Tale. So essentially, these 4 poneglyphs mark locations, X's on a map, and then when they connect at the middle, they create another X. An X made of X's. This kind of symbolizes just how important the last island is. The information is absolutely key. And guess what? The Straw Hats learned all of this information inside of the whale tree. And to make things even more mind-blowing, the chapter in which this all happens, chapter 818, is titled Inside the Whale. Also, may I bring your attention to the crest of the Kozuki family? Look at the pattern. Look at it. What do you see? Those look frighteningly similar to whale tails. And what are they doing? They form an X in the middle. This can't be a coincidence. And that's my theory. Am I reaching for something that isn't there? Maybe, maybe not. But what I do know is that all the things I mentioned can't be coincidence. At the end of the day, only time will tell how the story develops. For all we know, the chapter coming out later this week could 100% destroy everything that I've said in this video. But you know what? So what? So what if I'm wrong? That's the beauty of One Piece. Oda has managed to create such a great work that millions of people are speculating on what might happen next. So enjoy the ride while it lasts, because there will be a day and time when One Piece will end and there will be no more predictions on what's going to happen. Anyway, that's gonna do it for me. Let me know what you guys think. If anyone here is new, don't forget to subscribe to my channel and turn on notifications so you know when new content is available. So other than that, thank you guys for watching. Stay safe out there, take care, and I'll see you in the next one.